A crazy team featuring Rhydon and Lapras was able to make day 2 at the San Antonio Regional Championship in a restricted format in Regulation G. We're going to be trying out a recreation of the team and seeing how well it can perform. This is Michael Kelch's recreation of, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, so I'm already going to apologize in advance if I butcher it. Vardaan Bhat's team? Like, I don't know. This team is absolutely insane though. Let's start breaking it down. First, we have the Lunala with the Shadow Shield and the Leftovers as an item, which is interesting. There's no Rillaboom to stack the healing, but of course, Leftovers is great paired with the Shadow Shield and the Terra Shells that we've seen. Just being able to get a multi-scale with Lunala when it's at full HP and allow it to be able to take several attacks very comfortably. That Terra Fairy option is really great against super effective dark coverage and pretty good as a defensive typing, while allowing Lunala to gain a same type attack bonus from the Moonblast, which is pretty good to hit the dark types that are 4 times effective against Lunala. The Moongeist Beam, a really strong ghost type attack, Moonblast for the fairy coverage, the Wide Guard, which is nice to help out against the powerful spread moves in this format like Water Spout, Glacial Lance, Astral Barrage, and more, and a Trick Room as a speed control method. Next Pokemon we have is the Ogerpon Cornerstone with the Sturdy ability and the Cornerstone Mask, giving it the Rock typing and the Terra Rock option, which you really rarely go for, but Ogerpon Cornerstone is fantastic in the format. Having the access to a Sturdy is so big when there are so many strong threatening attacks in this format. So Ogerpon is able to redirect comfortably away for allowing Lunala to get Trick Room up, maybe Zapdos to get Tailwind, and more. Really great coverage in the Ivy Cudgel that can hit Incineroar, as well as Calyx Ice Rider for a lot of damage, the Power Whip to threaten the water types like Urshifu out there, the Terra Waters like Amoonguss, and more. Follow Me for the redirection, of course, with that Sturdy ability, great pairing, and Spiky Shield to keep the Ogerpon around on the field. Next Pokemon we have is going to be the Chi-Yu with the Choice Scarf and the Beads of Ruin, and this Chi-Yu with the Terra Ghost, just a standard Choice Scarf Chi-Yu, able to threaten quite a bit of damage, utilizing some fast attacks with that Beads of Ruin, lowering the special defense of all Pokemon on the field. It's able to pair well with the Lunala, allowing Lunala to do more damage potentially, but also helps out against the Calyxes, the Ice Rider, and the Shadow Rider, with the Choice Scarf being able to outspeed the Shadow Rider, of course, and threatening it with some really strong Dark type coverage, which usually forces the Terra, or just getting rid of Calyxes. Really nice. Be able to do a lot of damage with Heat Wave and Overheat as well. And the next Pokemon will be the Galarian Zapdos with the Defiant ability and the Focus Sash with the Terra Grass option. It's interesting to see Galarian Zapdos, but Defiant is a great ability when there's Incineroar around, and a few of these Pokemon don't like Incineroar, like the Chi-Yu and the Lunala that can't really touch it for much damage. And being able to threaten Incineroar from even wanting to come as a lead is pretty big, because that Defiant Zapdos is so threatening. Getting a +1 attack boost off the Intimidate drop, because the Defiant will give you 2 stages of attack increase, can be very powerful. And the coverage of Galarian Zapdos really nice, because flying coverage is really strong into Rillaboom, Urshifu, Amoonguss, and more. Close combat, of course, into the dark types and the normal types that are resistant or just basically immune to those ghost type attacks that can be fired off from the Lunala, is a pretty great pairing, and gives this team a secondary mode in the speed control with Tailwind. So you can have Trick Room and Tailwind options, which is pretty solid for this team, which has a bit of a weird speed tier, specifically Lunala and the rest. Next Pokemon we have is going to be the Rhydon with the Lightning Rod and the Violet. We actually saw quite a few Rhydons make it into the day 2 of the San Antonio Regional Championship. And the main reason is it is one of the defensive Pokemon against Miraidon, thanks to the Lightning Rod ability, which allows Rhydon to redirect the electric type attacks from Miraidon, which means it can Volt Switch out safely, can go for Electro Drifts, and with that Terra Fairy option, can be able to be immune to the Draco Meteors, and usually Miraidons are choice specs, so you're able to force them to lock into a move and then play accordingly. And of course, with the Violet, does boost up Rhydon's special defense, so it is able to tank attacks pretty well, and it still takes really well from the physical defensive side too, with its already high physical defense. But on this occasion, with it being near max special defense, because it wants to take special attacks from Pokemon like Calyx Shadow Rider, from Pokemon like Miraidon, because Dazzling Gleam is a super threatening attack from Miraidon, which it can go for with Terra Fairy and more. So having as much special defense as possible, because Rhydon doesn't have the best special defense. Even with the Violet, you still need quite a lot of investment in order to be able to tank attacks. And then this Rhydon has options for setup with that Swords Dance, able to threaten a huge amount of damage afterward with the Rock Slide and the high horsepower, allowing it to be a sweeper under Trick Room. The last Pokemon on this team is going to be the Lapras with the Water Absorb and Citrus Berry. It's an interesting mon because we don't really see it too often. It's a switch into Calyx Ice Rider, which is nice because not many of these Pokemon can really switch into Glacial Lands very well. You have Haze, which is very, very nice for the Dondozo teams, especially the teams with the Dondozo and the Calyx Shadow Rider with the Galarian Weezing. You're able to go for that Haze. You have the Freeze Dry option as well, which is great into water Pokemon, and of course can hit a lot of mons such as like the Landers. Incarnate has picked up in popularity, flying types, grass types, and more. The Hydro Pump, of course, for that option to hit Incineroar for a lot of damage, and the Terrifier as the defensive typing because you still want to be able to resist Calyx Ice Rider Glacial Lands. You want to be able to resist the Wood Hammers from like Rillaboom. And it is a pretty nice typing because with that Water Absorb, you're still immune to the water type attacks, so you aren't taking super effective damage from it. And the Citrus Berry to keep the Lapras around as long as possible because you already have the leftovers on the Lunala. Overall with this team, you just want to play straightforward. You do have two different speed control methods in the Tailwind Zapdos as well as the Trick Room on Lunala. Generally, I would say you would probably be going for the Trick Room most of the time with the Lunala, and then maybe even going for an endgame with the Zapdos. You have some pretty fast threats with the Chi-Yu and the Cornerstone Ogerpon, and the Ogerpon Cornerstone plus the Zapdos having basically the Focus Sash Sturdy lead is really strong in the format because it's really obnoxious to get rid of both of these Pokemon at the same time. So you are able to go for some pretty powerful hits with the Zapdos, get the Tailwind up, and more. That Wide Guard support on Lunala makes it really hard for your opponent to get knockouts with really strong spread type of damage. And of course, you do have the Lapras and the Rhydon, which do have very significant niches on this team. Rhydon being more of an offensive Trick Room sweeper that can help out in the Miraidon matchup, while Lapras can really help out against Dondozo, Kyogre, and more. I do not believe the creator has any social medias that I am aware of at the current moment, but if you would like to check out the details of the recreation, they'll be linked in the description down below. Koraidon, Ditto, Raging Bolt, Ogerpon Cornerstone, Chi-Yu, and Fluttermane. Is it bad that Rhydon might actually be good here because I have like max Spadef? It might be. All right, how do I want to go? I think I want Cornerstone Ogerpon. My own Cornerstone Ogerpon's good. Lunala is really solid. I do like Rhydon, and last Pokemon, probably the Zapdos because it's good offensively, and also because the Raging Bolt electric moves are redirected by Rhydon, I think it's probably the smartest bring. So let's try it out. Trick Room is going to be very crucial in this game. Can we set up a good spot for the Rhydon? Because we kind of need to. I do think that Rhydon is going to be a very key member to how we are going to be able to win. We're going to see Ogerpon Chi-Yu lead. Okay. Versus Ogerpon and Lunala. So we should be fine for the most part. We should be able to get an Ivy Cudgel and threaten some heavy damage. I would like the Ivy Cudgel into the Ogerpon. So I am going to tar down the Ogerpon, and I am going to attempt to Trick Room here. The reason I target the Ogerpon is in case the Chi-Yu is... Well, we're going to see a Terra from the Chi-Yu, which is surprising to me. Terra Water. Interesting. Okay, I'm fine with that. As long as it isn't Terra Blast. Which I don't think it should be on a Sun team, but sure. We're going to Terra Lunala because we always want to avoid the Dark Pulse or the Snarl. We should be able to survive any combination. Maybe we don't live Ivy Cudgel on the Overheat after the... If it isn't Choice Scarf on the Lunala or on the Chi-Yu, which is what they normally have on this team. Okay, I get an Ivy Cudgel off into the Ogerpon. Huge amounts of damage, not a knockout. Ivy Cudgel actually into my Ogerpon, which is fantastic. Okay. It's a crit. Doesn't really change that much, I think. Snarl, perfect. Okay, yeah. Super ideal turn. All right. We did take a Snarl, but we do get our Trick Room set up with the Lunala. We got good damage into their Ogerpon as well. Let's bring out our Rhydon. Don't be Terra Blast. If this is Terra Water, Terra Blast, I'm gonna scream. But yeah, we go Rhydon here. And we are going to Swords Dance. And we are going to Moongeist Beam the Ogerpon, which also covers for a switch into Ditto. Lunala should be able to KO the Ogerpon at that range. We get a Swords Dance up so we can threaten the Chi-Yu the next turn. Ogerpon's going to retreat. If this is Ditto, that'd be amazing, but I don't know. That's Rhydon. Oh, if I Moonblast instead! I Moonblast instead, but it's fine. Because we have Shadow Shield, so we definitely live a Chi-Yu attack. So let's see. What are they going for? Moongeist Beam into Rhydon. Did some pretty impressive damage, actually, still. Heat Wave, that's fine. Yeah, we take it extremely well. Nice. Now I'm going to go for high horsepower into the Chi-Yu, and I think I'm going to also Moonblast that slot in case the Rhydon protects. Or we see a Chi-Yu swap here, which is fine by me as well. Ogerpon being sacked here. If Rhydon didn't protect, it is getting Moonblasted. I thought I was going for Moongeist Beam. No. High horsepower should KO the Ogerpon. Nice. Okay, goodbye, Ogerpon. And even if they send in Ditto, they don't have a Violite, first of all. And there's no way +2 high horsepower knocks out my Lunala. I refuse to believe that. So we should be in a pretty good spot. Assuming high horsepower doesn't KO Rhydon, but they also have to win a speed tie as well. That is Ditto. Yep. Okay. So I'm going for the high horsepower into the Rhydon, which is the Ditto slot. And we are going to Moonblast the Rhydon. That should switch out into Chi-Yu, I think. And then, I mean, Ditto can't knock out. I mean, don't Rock Slide flinch me, please. I guess it's okay even if I do, because I do have an out. But yeah, we are going to see the swap into the Chi-Yu, which makes a lot of sense here. All right. And we do get the high horsepower off first into the Rhydon. It's Focus Sash on the Rhydon on their side. Okay. Critical hit does not matter. What's the Rhydon going for? High horsepower into my Rhydon. It actually picks up the knockout. I am kind of shocked by that. All right. This became a bit awkward. Is it playable? Sure. But definitely not what I expected. All right, Chi-Yu. It's funny. I'm losing to Rhydon itself. All right. I think, is this the last turn of Trick Room? If this is the last turn of Trick Room, I think I just Wide Guard and I think I just go for a Tailwind. It is. All right. That's what I'm going to go for in case they double protect to stall out. So I'm going to Tailwind and I'm going to Wide Guard because we want to prevent Heat Wave from knocking out the Lunala. High horsepower and overheat would be a smart play by their part. But let's see if they will go for it. See if they will go for it. Because they need to have that specific situation, I think. All right, no protects. Wide Guard coming out. I hope this is Rock Slide. It would make this so much easier. Okay, that makes it so much easier. All right. I think that should help. Well, it doesn't seal it because there's also double protects involved. Heat Wave. Oh, that's amazing. That really helps out. The leftovers might allow me to get my Shadow Shield back if they try to stall out the Tailwind too, which is fantastic. And I haven't broken my Focus Sash. That Wide Guard Lunala and the Tailwind play is coming in so clutch here. Because now I outspeed the Rhydon, I outspeed the Chi-Yu guaranteed. Now I can go for the close combat into Chi-Yu, and I can go for a Moonblast into the Rhydon. Yeah, they're having a really tough time now. Oh, thank goodness. Endgame wise, this is looking really good. Close combat to Chi-Yu. Go for the Moonblast into the Ditto. Double protect to stall out, but even if they do, so be it. That's fine. Now gonna be forfeited. Perfect endgame scenario. Perfect. I just needed to hope that if they did attack with the Chi-Yu, it wasn't overheat. If it was overheat, it was definitely a bad situation, but kind of had to gamble a bit. I'm surprised high horsepower +2 KO'd the Rhydon with Violet. I'm still shocked by that, but all right. Miraidon, Iron Bundle, Dragonite, Raging Bolt, Incineroar, Urshifu. This is kind of weird because it's Miraidon balance, and I don't really like that too much here. Okay, what do I want to go? Iron Bundle's scary. I think it's always Lunala here. Lunala is really nice. Do I want Galarian Zapdos? It's pretty decent, but I don't think it's necessary. I think it's probably Lunala. I think it's Cornerstone, Ogerpon lead. I think it's just a safe get up Trick Room angle. Rhydon in the back and Lapras. I'm bringing Lapras because Dragonite, assuming we can protect it from electric moves, good against Raging Bolt. It's hitting Incineroar with Hydro Pump. Freeze Drive for the Urshifu. Although it could be Dark Urshifu on this team actually, which I didn't consider. If it's Dark Urshifu, that's actually really scary. So Terra Fairy Lunala and Terra Fairy Rhydon can be good against it. Of course, I can only Terra one of them, but I guess we'd have to figure it out. I probably would say it's Dark Urshifu. I think would make a lot of sense here actually. So who knows? Unless they want to refuse to run a Water type move on Iron Bundle, which makes sense since it's very inaccurate. That could be a cause, but let's find out. What are they leading? Because it's going to be very important to figure out lead-wise plan. I also got to be careful that I don't get extreme speed swept by Dragonite in the end game. Thunderclap is a bit easier to manage because of my Rhydon, but we'll see. We're going to see Iron Bundle and Incineroar lead. Interesting leads. Versus Ogerpon and the Lunala. Sure. Are you gonna fake out the Lunala? A bit of a crazy play, but I could respect it here, and I could definitely see it. I think my play here is just to always go for a Terra, go for a Moonblast into the Iron Bundle, and I think we swap out into our Lapras. Because we want to keep the... Because one, I don't know if they fake out. I think this is probably knockoff coming out, which is fine. I want pressure. I want to weaken Iron Bundle and put it in Rock Slide range. That's one less pivot they really have across the board. Like one Focus Sash gone is pretty massive for Rhydon being able to clean up under Trick Room. B, I can threaten Hydro Pump and Trick Room the next turn, which I think is pretty important. Although I am a bit concerned if they decide, hey, I'm going to go for a U-turn or parting shot into my slot and get him like, I don't know, the Miraidon, which would not be great. At least time they didn't swap into Miraidon. Urshifu. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That could have been something. Okay. As we go for the Terra, we go for the Terra Fairy. All right, so we know it's Incineroar, Urshifu, and Iron Bundle. This is going to be interesting on the overall. They go for Icy Wind. I guess they're setting up for Lunala? I don't know. This is kind of a weird position for them. As I go for the Moonblast into the Iron Bundle. Should bring into Focus Sash. See, the thing is here, I have a very safe Trick Room with Lunala. I get back... no, I don't get back my Shadow Shield, right? Yeah, I'm 1 HP away. Yeah. So I can Trick Room. This is close combat. I don't have a fighting switch, unfortunately. So we're going to go for a Freeze Dry. We only need a Lapras to really pivot around Urshifu. And if we bait the close combat instead of starting strikes into the Lunala, I think it's still a pretty good trade. Then we can bring in Rhydon and we can threaten Moonblast into High Horsepower or Rock Slide, which is still pretty ideal. Yeah, it's still scary. It is still scary. Because this is definitely losable regardless. At least the Urshifu isn't Sash. We can confirm that. So they have to Terra to get out of Moonblast KO. This could be Incineroar. Like I could see them going Incineroar here. For the Iron Bundle. No, they just click Freeze Dry. Are they doubling up the Lunala? No, they go for close combat. Okay, perfect. Now I can go out into my Incineroar. I can click Moonblast plus Rock Slide, and I should be fine here. As Trick Room will come out. All right. If I KO'd the Ursh, it would have been better, but I didn't know if they were gonna close combat or they were Surging Strike seeing with the Terra. Now I can go into Rhydon. I'll click Moonblast and a Rock Slide, because it should KO the Ursh even if they Terra. I guess I'll Moongeist Beam because it covers for Terra Steel. There's no way they Terra normal, right? Yeah. Gonna Rock Slide, Moongeist Beam. Aqua Jet doesn't KO Rhydon. Rock Slide covers the Incineroar. Realistically, Ursh should just protect here and Incineroar should come in for the Iron Bundle slot, but I'm not risking like, hey, is the Ursh some item I'm not really thinking of that doesn't allow it to have protect, so I'd rather just Moongeist Beam and Rock Slide. I'll still chip the Incineroar, which is pretty big, and get a bit of Leptos recovery. But I gotta watch out for the upcoming turns because I need... Oh, they just attacked and sack Iron Bundle, which is also fair, but I will gladly take that. Or, wait, what? Okay, they go for double protect here. The thing is, they're not pinning my slots. So, Incineroar isn't exactly as free now, because if they want to go Incineroar, they take massive damage. I Moongeist Beam to Ursh. Sure, I'll take it. I mean, it works out really well for me, so I'll gladly take this. I'm going for Rock Slide, and I'm going for Moonblast into the Ursh because it covers the Incin coming in. So that's what we'll do. Like, if they saw Moongeist Beam, I don't think they're going to go for the defensive Terra now. If they do, they got me. But I think Incineroar should be switching in for the... I think they should probably go to Incineroar and Miraidon, but I could also just see Incineroar and sack Iron Bundle, which I think is a fair play. So they could get a free switch to Ursh next to Incin and threaten Fake Out Surging. So let's see. Iron Bundle retreats. Ursh did not retreat though. Incineroar does come in, which I think is very risky for my opponent. That's incredibly risky. This has to be a Terra from the Ursh. It is not a Terra from the Ursh. So I get a Rock Slide into the Incineroar. And the Ursh, I get a crit, but that doesn't matter because Moonblast was KOing. I knew I was slower because they Icy Winded my Lunala the previous turns. So I get the KO into the Ursh. And that is their best Rhydon answer gone. Granted, they still have Iron Bundle, but right now it's looking really tough for them to actually dish out the damage. I guess they want the defensive Terra on probably Miraidon. But I'm not sure. This is still a pretty good situation. Wait, is that not Miraidon? Dragonite. They didn't bring the restricted. Oh man, that is crazy to me, but we'll take advantage of that, I suppose. We're gonna go for a Moonblast into a Rock Slide, or not high horsepower Rock Slide, because I don't have Protect on the Lunala, so protecting Rhydon and risking a double up would be pretty bad. I'd rather just go on the offense. Okay, not what I expected. It's still tough though. It kind of makes sense they didn't bring the Miraidon, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see if this Dragonite will play out as they want it to. Extreme Speed is definitely threatening though. Like, it's going to do a lot to Lunala, especially once they break the Shadow Shield. So I need as much damage as I possibly can. Why are they not terroring? Wait, did they terror already? No, right? Ursh went down. What was their Pokemon in the back? Iron Bundle. Yeah, they didn't Terra. They go for low kick and a Rhydon, but it's nowhere near enough damage. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going for a Moonblast and Rock Slide, and I just don't see a reason to. I don't even have to say Rhydon because it's not even necessary because I already got rid of the... Yeah, I mean, I just don't know at this point. We're going to see Iron Bundle come in, but... Maybe to get a Rock Slide. AO the Iron Bundle. Incineroar is super weakened. I guess... Yeah, I'm not sure. They go for Willis and a Rhydon, sure, but it might be too late. I don't see how you're beating the Lunala at this point. I also still have a Cornerstone Ogerpon remaining because you sacked your Iron Bundle. Maybe you're hoping for the Rock Slide miss. But, very interesting decisions from my opponent. I guess the Rhydon just put in too much fear for the Miraidon. Maybe like the Miraidon's like an electric Terra set and like they were fearful of, okay, I really cannot do anything to the Rhydon, so they just didn't even bring it. It just struck that much fear into them that they didn't even bring the restricted. But yeah, I mean, they did not respect the Rhydon still, even though the Miraidon didn't have anything to fear. But yeah, we can go for a Moonblast. We can go for a Rock Slide. Even if they're Terra Steel, we could still easily win. Well, I guess as long as nothing crazy happens. Look, this game is Pokemon. I know for sure. Okay, it's Terra Normal. Okay, we should guarantee the win now. This Cornerstone Ogerpon will always win. They go for Extreme Speed. It's just not doing anything, man. Yeah. Okay. So nice of you not bring your restricted. I thank you. Thank you very much. Also, I'm surprised they didn't Terra earlier as a defensive because they wouldn't have taken so much damage from the Moongeist Beam, or not the Moongeist Beam, the Moonblast earlier. Maybe it would have given them a shot. It's still pretty tough, but I think that gave them a better shot. I think once I get Ogerpon in, though, I just Ivy Cudgel the instant. I set up Trick Room, and then they are probably in a bad spot because it's most likely Choice Band on the Dragonite. I can't even tell. I think it's Choice Band, but I can't even tell at that point. But not bringing Miraidon is crazy still. Tatsugiri, Chiyu, the Dragonite, Dondozo with Miraidon and Golden Go. This looks like a nightmare to play with my team. I do have Haze on the Lapras, but there's so much that could go wrong here. All right, how do I want to approach this? I think I definitely want to go with Cornerstone Ogerpon. Cornerstone Ogerpon's good. I think Cornerstone Ogerpon plus Lunala is super ideal. Have the Rhydon in the back with the Lapras. This is gonna be super weird because I need Rhydon for the Miraidon and I need Lapras for the Dondozo, which I wouldn't even bring Dondozo against this team. Well, I guess it depends if they know the tricks, but I would not bring Dondozo against this team. I think Miraidon, Chiyu, Golden Go is already going to be a nightmare to deal with, and I feel like Dragonite's also pretty rough. So we'll see. Could be like a Chiyu combination with Golden Go, and I might have to just play like Mind Game straight off the bat, which isn't good. Which isn't good. Let's see. Because Golden Go is really rough here. I guess maybe I could have led Chiyu plus Ogerpon, but I feel like not having Trick Room and not having the Haze and the Lightning Rod, it was just really hard because the only way to be consistent, I feel, was to bring Rhydon for sure. Because they lead the... Okay, interesting lead. Rhydon plus the Chiyu. All right. Gonna go Rhydon for the Ogerpon slot, and I'm gonna go for my Terra Fairy, and I'm gonna go for a Trick Room immediately. So I think this play covers a lot of plays that they have here besides Draco Meteor into the Cornerstone Ogerpon slot. Otherwise, I should be able to get a free high horsepower, Rock Slide, Threaten, Moongeist Beam the next turn. Like I have all those options. So let's see what they decide here. It should be a Solvest on the Rhydon because it is the team that got top 8 at the World Championship, the one Dondozo that made it through. Let's see. Bring out the Rhydon. No Terra on their side, not surprising because they're not like super threatened here. Bring out the Terra on the Lunala in case they try to Draco, because if they Draco, I think it would be Draco into the Miraidon slot or into the Lunala slot with Miraidon. Oh, Electro Drift. Okay. Nice. So able to get the Lightning Rod and doesn't take any damage, which is nice, and a Heat Wave, which does break Shadow Shield, but I am pretty happy about this turn as I do get the Trick Room up. Beautiful. Okay, I like this turn. I like this turn a lot because now I just threaten heavy damage into the Miraidon. I don't think I should be super threatened by the Chiyu offensively, and they got to be scared of me doubling it up. So I'm gonna go for high horsepower, and I'm just gonna go for a Moonblast. Yeah, I think we always Moonblast. I was thinking Moongeist Beam because I'm pretty sure they're going to Terra Fairy, but if they Terra Fairy, that's fine. They could double out in a Dondozo, but if they double out in Dondozo, I just have a very safe Lapras play and Haze. I would have to watch out though, because I still have to watch out for endgame Chi-Yu Miraidon, because I took a lot to set up this position. I committed my Terra, I took damage and broke my Shadow Shield, but I don't know, if they just give me the damage into these Pokemon, I think it's really crucial. No Protects, no Terras, high horsepower into the Miraidon. Doesn't pick up the knockout, but this Moonblast will. That is a huge knockout here. Okay, goodbye Miraidon. That is massive. Getting rid of that mon is huge. He just fired a Heat Wave. They're not Scarf, they're Focus Sash Chi-Yu, so I don't get this, but I'll take it. Okay. Are you just trying to get a free switch into Golden Go? This has to be Golden Go, right? Oh, Dondozo. What? All right. I'm going hard into my Lapras, I suppose. And I'm gonna Moongeist. No, I Moonblast a Chi-Yu. I don't care if they protect the Chi-Yu, that's fine. Because Wave Crash won't be able to pick up a knockout into either slot. If they go hard Tatsugiri, I just Haze and I probably win off that. I am super shocked with the events here. No Golden Go against this team, I think, is really an interesting decision, because I thought Golden Go was so good against me. But all right, here comes the Lapras. They do retreat to Chi-Yu. This is Tatsugiri. I can now Haze the Dondozo. Is this Earthquake or are you just Wave Crashing? I imagine it's Wave Crashing the Lunala, but we'll see. If they Wave Crash the Rhydon, that'd be hilarious, but I don't think you should ever worry about the Rhydon at this point in the game. Do I want to keep the Rhydon, or do I go into Rhydon, or do I go into Cornerstone Ogerpon the next turn? I guess that's a good question. Moonblast, fail. Yeah, they do Wave Crash into the Luna. So I could have maybe went for like Rock Slide, swapped in the other slot, but I don't think losing Lunala is that bad for me, realistically. How many turns of Trick Room are there? That was turn 2? Yeah, that was turn 2. We're going to go into Cornerstone Ogerpon. I mean, this is still losable because the Chi-Yu doesn't have its Focus Sash broken. We're going to Haze the boost away. And I think we're going to Power Whip. Wait, how many turns? 3 turns left? No, 2 turns. I think I want to set up for a position. Wait, have they Terra'd? They haven't Terra'd yet, right? No, they haven't. I think I still want to Spiky Shield with Ogerpon regardless. And Haze. I think I'll sack Rhydon to give myself a better odds with Lapras endgame, because I want to pin the Dondozo so I get to knock on Tatsugiri at the same turn. Go for Earthquake. Okay. That's fine. Lapras absolutely takes that. And now that the Dondozo boosts are gone, we're going to go for a Freeze Dry into the Dondozo. We're going out into Rhydon. It's so weird because I need the free switch into Ogerpon, and ideally the free switch to Ogerpon also comes with the Sturdy available, because I want the Sturdy on the Rhydon. Or on the Ogerpon when it comes in. Because I'm worried about the Chi-Yu endgame. I do get a good amount of damage. Wave Crash is perfect, actually. They're taking a bunch of recoil. Rhydon goes down. I think now Dondozo should go down to Ivy Cudgel, and now I can Freeze Dry and pin that Tatsugiri, which is what I've been building up for here in my endgame Trick Room. Because I'm like, okay, if I lose the Sturdy on Ogerpon and they have Scarf Tatsugiri with Chi-Yu in the back, sure, the Tatsugiri can has to lock into a move, but I actually am very worried that I get reverse swept by Chi-Yu, especially if I get unlucky with Heat Waves. I think this avenue ended up being better for me. Because especially since they have Terra too. So I'm going to Ivy Cudgel and Freeze Dry. And we did get rid of the boost on the Dondozo, so they are going to protect to try and maybe live a power whip if they Terra Grass and get something cheeky. But here I just go for Freeze Dry and I go for Ivy Cudgel. And if they change the team, if Tatsugiri's Focus Sash, then that means the Chiyu can't be. I can Ivy Cudgel the Chiyu and just Freeze Dry. I guess there are more implications, like, okay, if it's Sash, Tatsu is to protect on the Chiyu, but if we're going by the same team concept, then it shouldn't be a problem. Ivy Cudgel should always knock out the Dondozo, since it doesn't have the boost, and I don't think this Dondozo was a crazy bulky one, I think, at the World Championship, at least, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I should have went for the Power Whip bluff, but I wasn't risking them playing offensive immediately, so... Ivy Cudgel, please knock out the Dondozo. Please give me the Freeze Dry into the Tatsu and seal it here. I guess, like, if they go for Wave Crash, take the recoil, if they live Ivy Cudgel somehow, then it's still ideal. They do actually Terra the Dondozo. Wait, isn't it Terra Grass? Okay, yeah. They're hoping that I go for like a Power Up or Horn Leech, but I always click Ivy Cudgel here. Let's see. All right, Ivy Cudgel. Yeah, I do KO. Perfect. As long as the Dondozo went down before I got the Freeze Dry off, because the Freeze Dry is going to go into Tatsugiri, and now I'm in a fantastic spot. Okay, that was a little bit of a nightmare to maneuver, but was able to manage. Freeze Dry going to come out into the Tatsu. Goodbye, Tatsu. Game is sealed. Now I just Ivy Cudgel Freeze Dry, and I guarantee win. Okay, there's like... There is some things that could go wrong here. It is Sash Chiyu, so it always lives a hit. Don't Heat Wave crit my Lapras and burn my Ogerpon this turn. But yeah, we're going to go for Ivy Cudgel into a Freeze Dry. Alright, not Scarf. Focus Sash. Yep. As anticipated. Do not crit my Lapras and burn my Ogerpon. Okay. I think Lapras might have even been able to survive the crit Heat Wave, it looked like, in that position. So super safe. Freeze Dry KOs the Chiyu, and I felt like I had a very good position. It looked like even if I crit the nose with Freeze Dry, I would have knocked out barely, which was perfect. Well, it would have actually knocked out, I think. So I needed Lapras not to crit there because they went for Wave Crash and took the recoil. So yeah, but I think a good setup. Surprised they didn't go into Dondozo earlier instead of risking the Miraidon like that, because I thought Miraidon was still good, but I guess maybe they thought, okay, you have the Rhydon, you have your Terra Fairy. I'm not really doing much since I'm not choice specs, so Dazzling Gleam's not doing too much damage. I think it was Dazzling Gleam, right? But yeah. Zamazenta, Entei, Dondozo, Rillaboom, Tinglu, and Xianpao. Okay, if I'm not... Actually, I'm not too sure. I know that this has been a pretty common build for the most part, although I don't really remember the Entei too much. But a very defensive Tinglu Dondozo team. You have the offensive Xianpao, Entei, and Zamazenta, and then the Rilla too. So it's a very weird game here. Galarian Zapdos should be good. I definitely bring the Chiyu because Chiyu's good. I think I go with Zapdos. Zapdos Cornerstone Ogerpon seems really nice to me. Have the Lunala in the back, and I think it's a Chiyu. I don't think I ever bring the Rhydon, and I don't think I ever bring the Lapras. Lapras could help. Freeze Dry against Dondozo is always fair. Like, it can do a lot of damage, but I think I can also with Power Whip, as well as strong attacks from Chiyu and Lunala if I get rid of Tinglu early. But I don't even know if they're going to go that mode. Xianpao is actually still pretty good against me. Zamazenta is, of course, a big threat. I got to respect the Xianpao a lot. Like, if they lead Dondozo plus Tinglu, it's probably Xianpao, Zamazenta, and back, and I have to really respect that. I also don't want to be... Well, there's so much that could go wrong here, but we'll see. Entei Tinglu is not what I would expect. Okay. Hearthstone Ogerpon plus Zapdos. Well, Ogerpon just threatens so much damage. I think has to force a Terra. Most likely a Terra out of the Tinglu. So I think I'm just gonna... Well, the Tinglu has Stealth. Actually, would it be Stealth Rocks on this team? It runs Stealth Rocks on the Kali Shadow team. It doesn't really run it on this. Did I just double up the Entei if I be cut to close combat? I think I do. If they protect, not great, but I feel like it could be choice band on the Entei. And we are going to see a Terra come out immediately. I feel like the Terra is Ting Lu, but let's see. Yep. Into Terra Fairy. Yeah, that's what I expected. I could double protect it, but I didn't really want to double protect on a Stealth Rock if it's a Scarf. Thank goodness he didn't burn me. Because I get the KO on the Entei and I still get damage in the Ting Lu. Okay. Was not expecting Scarf. So that's your Scarf mod. Interesting. Close combat in a Ting Lu. Does no damage, but Ting Lu is a pretty bulky Pokemon. Helmet. Okay, so it's not Assault Vest. Ruination into Zapdos. That's not too bad. Okay. So who is coming in? Zamazenta. That is fine. It's not easy, but it's manageable. I'm gonna go for a Spiky Shield and a Protect because I want to see if I could get a bit of chip into either of these Pokemon if they decide to target. I don't think this is Iron Defense Zamazenta, and I don't think it should be. And this is definitely a strange one, though. I'm trying to figure out how I'm breaking through this. I think Zama's fine. It's just the partner in the back is going to be really rough. As we go for the Detect. I did not think you were actually Iron Defense. I should have just attacked. Sand Tomb into the Ogre Pond. I wish I was Contact, but okay. All right, we're going to go for Tailwind and we're going to go for Follow Me. This has gotten really weird. I do get the Follow Me with the Ogre Pond. Every time I'm going to come out, pick up the knock on Ogre Pond. I'm surprised they didn't Body Press actually, but maybe they're fearful of Terra Ghost. Tailwind comes out from the Zapdos. And we are going to see Sand Tomb to cover Switch. Beautiful. Or in case it didn't follow me. Alright, we're going to Chi you. The game is definitely still scary. I don't even know if we knock out the Zamazenta, but we are going to go for close combat into the Zamazenta, and we're going to go for a Terra Ghost Overheat. I know the Protect from the Zamazenta is obvious, but I don't think Ting Lu has enough damage output to threaten. And I want to make sure I pin the Zamazenta slot because I could either catch the Zama or I could be catching the Xian Pao. And if I catch the Xian Pao, that's actually pretty massive. Although, because I Terra Ghosted, it might sack Zamazenta, so Xian Pao might actually beat me in the end game. I didn't think about that. Oh, no. And I Terra Ghosted, so I wouldn't take as much damage from Sand Tomb. But this might not have been as ideal as I thought it would have. Okay. I think they're gonna stay in. Yeah, they get the Sand Tomb. Okay. I can play around this. It's just super rough. This Ting Lu with Terra Fairy is so hard for the team, man. It's so hard. I'm still doubling up to Zamazenta because I can't really afford the Zamazenta to stick around. Wait, they actually switched out? Oh, it's Dondozo back. That I did not anticipate. Okay, I get a big overheat off into Dondozo as well as a close combat. That's massive. Xian Pao is huge. Yeah, I get so much damage in Dondozo. Ruination? A Body Press. Okay, I live. Okay. I'm going Harlunala here because I need to reset to Chi if I want a chance. I'm expecting Dozo to protect and a... I expect Dozo to protect and you just body press the Galarian Zapdos. I think that's super safe and I don't really see that big of a punish unless you go for the yawn, which I don't think you should. Lunala coming in. At least somebody protected Dozo. Get it close combated. Get it close combated and pinned. Alright. Okay, they just wave crashed though. That's fine. It's not ideal, but it's definitely manageable. I need damage getting into... Well, I need damage into both. And when Peter's out, I'm kind of curious if I can knock out the Dondozo by going out into my Chiyu and going for the Moongeist Beam. I think I'm going to risk it. I really hope I can because I hope I can catch a body press into the Galarian Zapdos. Granted, they can go for Ruination. They can go for like any other attack, but I think that's fine. If they protect on Dozo, then I could double up the next turn, and that's pretty good because I can get a Heat Wave plus Moongeist Beam, and that would be so nice. Bring out the Chiyu with the Beads of Ruin, so canceling out the Vessel of Ruin, or just having some really weird calcs in general. Moongeist Beam. Nice. And Dozo Feints, good. Nice. Excellent. Excellent. So good. So good. All right. Zamazenta's coming in. I get damage on the Tinglu. Am I overheating the Zamazenta, I guess is the question. I feel like the answer is... I think I'm fine to go for an overheat in the Zamazenta at least once. And I think I go for a Moongeist Beam and chip away the Tinglu. Because if Zamazenta protects, I don't think the Tinglu can pick up the knock on a Chiyu. So I do need damage in a Tinglu, and I might as well get it with the Beads of Ruin. I thought about overheat doubling, but I don't think it makes sense. And they give me the overheat. I don't think this KOs, but still a really good amount of damage regardless. That's massive. Heavy Slam into Chiyu. Actually, I should have targeted down the Zamazenta. Because Heavy Slam is... Oh boy. Wait, hold on. Lunala's taking a Ruination here, isn't it? And I also didn't get the Beads of Ruin extra power. Okay. Hey, I might have messed up by not committing to the Zamazenta. I know the read was a bit obvious, but yeah, that is not great. That's kind of a mind game here. Does Zamazenta protect this turn? I could see protect. I could see protect Ruination. I could see protect Sand Tomb. Oh, there's so much. I could see body press Heavy Slam. I feel like my best play is to always Tailwind, and I don't know if Zamazenta goes for protect. I feel like it does, but I think I always target into it anyway to be safe. Now they Heavy Slammed the Lunala. Okay, hold on. Because I get a Tailwind up with Lunala. And I get the KO into Zamazenta with Moonblast. I thought I could close combat. Maybe then I could Moongeist Beam the Tailwind, but it doesn't look like that's going to be happening. Oh boy. Sand Tomb. Ah, we lost. I think if I close combat the Zamazenta and I Moonblast the Tinglu, maybe? Or Moongeist Beam the Tinglu. Ah, it was just so rough, man. I got a few reads right, but I wasn't sure if they were going to attack with the Zama. I probably should have just doubled into it. If I doubled into it, I think I just won. But they protected and just got damaged with the Tinglu with like another Ruination. I think I was actually in a bad spot. But I think I should have risked it. Unless Brave Bird KOs the Tinglu. If we crit the Tinglu, maybe. But I don't think it's going to do enough. Yeah, like a crit would have knock out the Tinglu. It's super bulky. Pain. Tinglu, man. Pain. but that was on me. I had several opportunities to get rid of the Zamazenta and I didn't take them, which I got heavily punished for. All right, we have Calyrex Shadow Rider, NDD Female, Iron Hands, Urshifu, Landorus Incarnate, and the Tornadus Incarnate. All right. So this is going to be a tough one. We do have Calyrex Shadow Rider, one of the biggest threats. Let's see. Chi's not bad, but against Tornado, Urshin, and Iron Hands, it's pretty difficult. It is pretty good, though, against the Shadow Rider and the Psychic stuff. But only if I am able to bring that. Wide Guard's really good, though. Wide Guard is really good on Lunala, assuming there's only spread attacks on the Calyrex Shadow Rider, or maybe like Draining Kiss, and that's it. I probably want to go... Do I want to go offense or do I want to go defense? I probably just want to bring Ogerpon. I'll bring Lunala, and I think I'm going to go with the Tricker mode. I'm going to bring Lapras and Rhydon. Why not? Why not? We'll bring both of them. Lapras is good against the Genies. The Rhydon, of course, is good into Iron Hands. Can put on some pretty decent offensive pressure. Might as well just try it out. Because, like, Chi is just so weird in this matchup where I don't think it's benefiting me. It's giving my opponent A to beat the Ruin. It can benefit me, but it doesn't really benefit when I have a slower team in general. So I don't think that's going to really work out. And also, I would like to bring these Pokemon because Lapras can hit the Urshifu. Rhydon can help out against the Iron Hands. So let's see. What are you going to lead here? Going to be the Calyrex and the Urshifu. Okay. Dark Urshifu. All right. The Terra Fairy on the Lunala is going to be absolutely incredible here. Now, what do I want to go for? Damage wise, I probably want damage into the Calyrex, especially if it goes for Terra. Yes, because I can always KO Urshifu with Moonblast plus Rock Slide. So I think I go for a Ivy Cudgel into the Calyrex, and I'm going to go for my Terra Fairy and Trick Room attempt. Let's see how this is going to go. Do they have Taunt on any of these Pokemon? Is it just going to be some attacks, which is fine? We're going to see a Terra come out immediately from the Calyrex because it doesn't want to take exactly a Moongeist Beam. It's going to be that Terra normal. And yeah, this is basically the Terra I expected. So perfectly acceptable. That means Urshifu can Terra. If I get the damage into the Calyrex, I should be doing some pretty good damage with that Ivy Cudgel. Maybe it puts it into the range of Rock Slide from Rhydon, and then I can go for a Moonblast plus a Rock Slide the next turn, assuming Ogerpon goes down. If Ogerpon sticks around in the field, it's not too bad either. I can follow me and attack. So we are going to see Astral Barrage just be fired off immediately, which is cool. And I imagine this is also Wicked Blow into the Lunala as well. Did a lot of damage to my Ogerpon. Definitely a boosting item on the Calyrex, I think. Maybe Choice Specs even. We're going to see Ivy Cudgel come out into the Calyrex and one-shot the Calyrex, which I think I would have probably preferred it if it was Choice Specs to stick around on the field, but I will gladly take it. Might be Spell Tag as well. I can see it. Wicked Blow going to come out to Lunala. Actually, probably is Spell Tag because that didn't do as much to Lunala as it should have. We do get the Trick Room up, so this is a pretty ideal turn. I do get rid of the Calyrex. Will they get a good free switch in is the question, because they do have some pretty good offensive threats. They have a Lando, they have a Torn, they have Indeedee, I guess, which Indeedee, I guess, could be annoying, but it's just the Iron Hands coming out, which is fine. Okay. Which means I can go for a... got a few plays I can opt for here. I really want that Moonblast into the Dark Urge, so I think I'm just gonna go on the offense here. I'm gonna go for a follow. Do I want to follow me? Yeah, I think follow me is fine. Follow me with the Ogerpon, and I'm just gonna fire off a Moonblast, and I'm gonna target down the Urshifu. I think I'm gonna come out on Lunala. That's cool because I assume Ogerpon was getting targeted anyway by the Dark Urshifu, and I can't exactly protect through the Dark Urshifu. So, oh, they went for Sucker Punch. Interesting. Okay. Which is cool by me. That's cool by me. I want to target the Iron Hands down, maybe? I could. It might be the better play because if I put this Pokemon into range of Run, I can then go for Moonblast into the Urshifu. But I gotta be careful because Urshifu is looking a little bit scary at the moment. I think I will go for the Follow Me with Ogerpon at the very least. And you know what? I will just go for the Moonblast into the Iron Hands because Urshifu could go for the Protect here, but it doesn't, which is fine. I will go for the Follow Me with the Ogerpon as we see a Wall Charge come out into the Ogerpon. All right. So I'm kind of curious if I was really scared of potentially Heavy Slam. So this might indicate that the Iron Hands doesn't have Heavy Slam. If it doesn't have Heavy Slam, it might be okay for me to just go into Rhydon and click Rock Slide or Drill Run into Moonblast at the Urshifu slot. Good blow, which is cool. Yeah. Okay. So this is not too bad of a spot, but we have to get rid of these fighting types. So I'm going to go out into Rhydon here. Because Lapras doesn't do anything. Yeah, so I go Rhydon. I guess if they have a flying type in the back, it's going to be a bit weird because they could switch out Iron Hands into that flying type. So maybe I should Rock Slide. A Sucker Punch into Drain Punch KO Lunala. I would say probably not. I feel like if you had Heavy Slam, you were going to go for Heavy Slam there. But maybe I just high horsepower and I just go for Moonblast into Urshifu. Because Urshifu can't take a knockout here. A Close Combat will knock out Rhydon and they don't have an attack that KOs the Lunala here. There's also a chance there could be a Protect here and a switch. So I could try to theoretically punish it, but I just don't think it's ever worth that risk. I think I just go for the attacks here. Let's see if they decide to switch out. Nope, no switches, no protects. I am able to get the high horsepower KO and Iron Hands, which is actually still pretty good. So Iron Hands does go down. I get to bring the Focus Sash on the Urshifu, or if it goes down to Moonblast, that's super ideal. But I assume this is always a Focus Sash. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Which is cool. Is this Close Combat or is this Wicked Blow again? Wicked Blow. Okay, so Rhydon's healthy, which is actually kind of nice. All right. I guess it depends on the last Pokemon heavily, and I mean very heavily, but we'll see. And I have one more turn of Trick Room, but they're probably going to double protect on it. So let's see what the final is. Maybe Landorus? I feel like you're trying to build up to a Landorus endgame. I don't know. I feel like if you had Landorus, he would have brought it in, though. But it is Landorus. Okay. Don't have much I can punish here, unfortunately. I'd always click Rock Slide here with Rhydon because there's no reason not to Rock Slide, right? If they Sucker Punch a Lunala, this works out pretty well. If this is Scarflando, that would be really nice for me, but kind of doubtful. I guess I just go on the offense into the Lando. I don't know if they protect, but we'll see. Urshifu protects, not surprising. Does the Lando protect as well? It does, okay. If I am able to survive one attack with the Rhydon, I think I should be able to win the game, but that's a big maybe. This is Life Orb Sheer Force Lando, but then again, this is a Violet Rhydon with a lot of Spadef. And I mean a lot of Spadef. So we'll see. We'll see. If I read them to go greedy, I could also predict them to go for Sandsear, and I could go for a Wide Guard. Do I want to cover that? I feel like I should, because there's a chance they go for Sandsear to be greedy and Close Combat to Rhydon. So I think I'm going to go for Rock Slide, and I think I am going to go for... Actually, no, I shouldn't Rock Slide, right? I should always high horsepower because it's higher accuracy odds, and I don't need the damage into Lando, because I'm going for the Freeze Dry endgame with Lapras. So I high horsepower and I Wide Guard. Let's see. Let's see if they go greedy. If they go greedy, I think it's really dumb. But otherwise, I think I just hope that Rhydon survives the Earth Power, or they don't double up into Rhydon specifically, which I don't think you ever should, because there's an attempt chance I could go for a Trick Room. But if they anticipate the Wide Guard, maybe they're like, okay, if they're going to Wide Guard to go for the last ditch effort, it's probably better to double up the Rhydon. So let's see. They Sludge Bombed the Lunala. Okay. That's perfect for me. I'll take it. I just need to hit this high horsepower. If we hit the high horsepower, I think we're game. Close Combat, we should easily live this. I mean, I would believe so. Yeah. Yeah. Hit the high horsepower, Rhydon. Hit the high horsepower. All we need is to hit the high horsepower. We hit the high horsepower. All right. Lapras, you got one job. KO this Landorus with Freeze Dry. which for a 4-time super effective, same type attack bonus move, I imagine you would. Also, they have to go for Sand Seer or Earth Power Crit. I don't think Earth Power Crit knocks out Lapras, so I'm just going to go for Protect and Freeze Dry. So I have to. So in case Sand Seer is a 2-shot with the Citrus Berry or 3-shot with the Citrus Berry, if it's spread, I always go for it. Why did they go for Sludge Bomb there? I have no idea what that last-ditch Sludge Bomb effort was, but we will gladly take a beautiful Rhydon plus Lapras. You know what? Did okay work. KOing the Iron Hands. Had a chance to go for maybe a switch earlier, but it worked out. The bulk was really good. And yeah, as I said, those Pokemon were good. Assuming I could sweep and Trick Room, which unfortunately I wasn't able to. But you know what? I was still able to do a lot of damage. I really am curious though on the Earth Power calc on Rhydon. I feel like it doesn't, but I guess we won't find out today. All right, let's go over to games. In game 1, I was able to force the Terra onto Chi-Yu immediately, which was pretty nice that I didn't have to deal with their Terra choice and was able to get a Trick Room set up. It did seem a bit complicated because of the Ditto, but the Rhydon put in the work I needed to gain the knockouts that I needed and set up for a very good end game. Although it could have still been scary because of the Chi-Yu, but a clutch Wide Guard and Tailwind in the last turn of Trick Room allowed me to have more speed control so I could still outspeed the Chi-Yu and the Rhydon and clean up the end game. In game 2, I was very surprised to see no Miraidon brought to the game. I guess Rhydon really did scare them away. However, was just able to dish out quite a bit of damage across the board with Lunala, which was really hard for them to knock out. Was able to punish especially hard with the Rock Slide and Moonblast combinations that they had no switch into. And yeah, they really couldn't do too much to my team, especially without the Restricted, which was their main source of damage. In game 3, we play against the Dondozo, and we had a pretty solid start utilizing the Rhydon as a gamble, but it really paid off, and my opponent did not decide to Terra at all, so I was able to get rid of the Miraidon immediately, which was really nice, and set up for a really solid Haze endgame with the Lapras and time it perfectly, so I was able to always punish and get a double knockout onto the Tatsugiri once Dondozo went down. In game 4, oh man, this matchup was scary, and I mean scary. That Terra Fairy Tinglu ended up being a huge problem. I did put myself into some nice positions utilizing the overheat on the Chi-Yu as well as going for the Terra Ghost, getting that right KO into the Dondozo, but I just had to read whether the Zamazenta was going to be able to A, live the overheat, and B, do I double it up or does it go for Protect? And unfortunately I did get very wrong there. If I was able to KO the Zamazenta in one of the 2 turns, I think it was very doable, but unfortunately I did not. In game 5, got rid of their Terra Calyx Shadow Rider immediately thanks to Ogerpon just deciding, hey, I want to get a critical hit with Ivy Cudgel. And then afterward was able to do some pretty massive damage utilizing the Lunala under Trick Room. And the Rhydon was able to actually put in a good amount of work being able to KO the Iron Hands. Now, the problem is the Lapras and the Rhydon still kind of struggled against the Landers plus the Urshifu, and it came down to the Landers being able to KO the Rhydon, but they didn't actually target the Rhydon with Earth Power, which was surprising. So I was actually able to KO the Urshifu, and then Lapras was able to clean up the endgame, which I will gladly take. And for those of you curious, the Earth Power, if it's timid max special attack, is a 75% chance to KO. So it might have came down to a damage roll potentially. If they have less, it's more in my favor. But if they were modest with a lot of investment, which probably unlikely because they were able to outspeed their Ursh, I don't think we were living a modest Earth Power. This team, I mean, I think you could tell by looking at it, but it is strange. And the ways he played are strange because it's not like you have the most effective sweeper out there because you are playing General Trick with Lunala. You're not playing any of the standard balance cores mons, so you're really utilizing either Chi-Yu for the offense, Ogerpon maybe, the Zapdos can do quite a bit, but generally you're just going for damage and playing straightforward. The only Pokemon that can really set up the sweep is Rhydon, and it is pretty difficult in an Urshifu format. So definitely a unique team. Definitely had some strong points. The Rhydon and the Lapras got to show off a lot of work in today's video, so I'm very happy about that. If you would like to, again, check out the details of the recreation, they'll be linked in the description and below. If you'd like to try out the team, the rental code is on your screen. Hopefully it's still available by the time this video comes out. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.